Welcome everyone to the Utah PTA Pulse podcast. Cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Little arrhythmia there. I am your co-host, Mike Williams, Director of Communications. To my right, your left.
I'm Angeli Ado, the Family Life Commissioner.
And I'm Cami Whitchurch, Community Engagement Commissioner.
And we have a special guest with us on the phone.
We're
How
trying
cool
a
is
new
this?
thing.
Would you like to introduce our guest, Angeli?
Yeah, so our special guest today is Melinda Tanner. She's our Family Engagement Specialist. Say hi, Melinda.
Hi, everyone.
Woo!
Cool.
This is so exciting. All right, we start every podcast with a fun question. So today's question is, would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands?
Oh, this one's easy.
Well, if I get hands for feet, do I still get to keep my hands for hands?
I think so. So you would get
two
like
sets of hands.
2 sets of hands or 2 sets of feet.
Yeah, that's easy.
Hands.
All the way. all the way. Yeah.
What about you, Melinda?
I already use my feet for hands, so
There you go.
hands for feet, of course.
Hands for feet. Yes.
I would do 2 sets of hands.
2 sets of hands.
I mean, man, feet just seem so weird.
Have you seen do you guys watch The Office? There's an
I haven't
Office
watched it
episode where
forever.
Dwight is trying to use his feet for everything. So he's like writing with his foot and typing, and Jim's like, here's some coffee, and so
no.
Dwight's trying to hold it and to drink it with his foot, and he spills it on himself.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, if that's how we were all born, like, you wouldn't know any different, But
That's
like,
true. Well, I just think of monkeys. Is it monkeys, gorillas, like primates
Yeah.
that use their feet like hands?
Yeah, but my fingers would hurt walking around on my hands all day. And just imagine
Well, you
when you
build
bend your fingers like
calluses
this,
and
you would
stuff.
bend your fingers really bad.
Yeah.
And if your ankles were wrists, they would hurt a lot.
Yeah, they would.
I'm like, last night I was doing this like mobility stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, my wrists hurt. Like, it would hurt.
Yeah, there would be some adjusting, I think. Well, but then if you're both,
I just-
if both your hands and your feet are hands, then you could just switch off and like walk on your other hands for a little while.
There you go.
I'm just thinking about if you drop something, you don't have to bend over and pick it up because you just pick it up with your hand on the ground.
Yes.
Do you have the
Yes.
flexibility in your legs? Because that's the other thing. Like,
It's true.
if
Can you
don't have
bring
any
it like up?
flexibility, but you can still pick it up.
I mean, I can actually pick up a lot of things with my feet and put it in my hand. I impress my kids with all the things I can pick up.
I was
with
doing
my
that today
feet.
with a blanket. It's freezing in my house. It's so cold.
It's so cold outside. Why is it winter already?
I agree.
All right. Enough of that silliness.
That was fun.
Yeah. That's a good one.
All right. Melinda, what has been your PTA journey? How did you get to where you're at right now?
So I, way back before I was even a parent, I was a teacher, and I joined the PTA as a teacher in a very, very, very high poverty school, and I was so impressed with how much the PTA was able to do for those kids that didn't even have basic needs like a home, because we had kids at the homeless shelter at that school. And so when I was no longer teaching and I had my own kids who had very high needs, and so they started school at 3 years old in special ed preschool, I asked if it was okay if preschool parents could be part of the PTA, and they said absolutely. And right away they grabbed me and said, let's put you as fundraiser chair. And then the next year they're like, we want you on the board for the school. And from there I was asked to be on the council. And then this year, last year, it's like, should I go for family engagement? I have a lot of really awesome ideas. I really like the idea of having lots of family involvement. So maybe since both of my kids will be in school all day, I have more time, and I'll try to do family engagement. And then I was accepted onto the Utah State Board. So
I love
It's
it.
lots of hard work and increasingly, like little by little, increasing my responsibilities every year.
I love that you kind of have a little bit of a different story because you started as a teacher.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is like really cool. And so you kind of saw like the other side of it where we're just kind of
Yes.
like these overzealous parents.
Yes, because I knew a lot of it was, I knew that for my kids with special needs, the biggest predictor of success is making sure the parents are involved.
Yeah.
And the teachers just really need a lot of help because they're overwhelmed. And I can't ask a lot of the teachers if I'm not willing to put in the work as well. So, and that's
I love that
what
so
it is
much.
about advocating. So I'm like, what can I do to do this? So that is how I found my path. And I fell in love with advocating
I love
for
that
all
so
the
much.
kids.
How do you think it helps having that teacher background in what you're doing now and helping with advocacy and families?
I think it helps with knowing, like, not where some of the limits are, because a lot of times we don't know the stresses the teachers might be having and the breaking points.
Yeah.
So being able to put the perspective of this might not be possible for some teachers because they have all these other responsibilities, or maybe they're too afraid to ask parents these things because they don't want to seem like they're not having a good handle on their classroom, or like they want to make connections but they don't know how to make connections. So being able to bring in that perspective of being able to like figure out where their needs are and how to implement that with the families. Like at our advocacy conference, one of our multicultural needs, like a lot of times we don't know the culture, and so bridging those connections between like helping the parents understand the culture of the families and then being able to help them meet them where they're at. Like I didn't know in our school a huge part of the culture was they they feel the teachers are the experts, so they try to just stay out of the school, and that's normal for them. But we want family engagement, so we try to meet them where they're at and find that balance of, well, what can we do that doesn't offend you and your culture?
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I think you've been a great asset kind of bringing in that teacher side of it and allowing us to kind of think a little bit differently about the way we're doing things. And I think that's such an asset, especially for your area. I just really think that's really important, and you bring a really great perspective. I love it, different than me too.
Yes.
And I like that you have totally, like, because you started as a teacher, you really saw that like partnership with the PTA, and sometimes PTAs get kind of knocked down as like just like the hospitality group for the teachers, and not so much a partner. And you have really seen like the power of partnerships with teachers and parents, and like parents don't always see that either,
Yep.
So I just love that. This is great.
Yeah.
So what do you focus on as the family engagement specialist? What are some of the things that you do at State?
One of the big focuses that we have right now is the School of Excellence program, which is one of the highest honors that a school can get because it is from the National PTA. Last year, we had 5 schools that were able to achieve that honor. This year, we have 15 schools that are signed up by the October 15th deadline. I want to hopefully help see through at least 80% of those schools so that they can have that honor. And that really helps be able to find out, make those connections. Where are parents not feeling the connections between that teacher and school relationship? What do the PTAs need to focus on to help make those parents feel welcome in the school and make that bridging those connections between the teachers, administrators and the PTA, and figure out what exactly are the needs of the community that the school can help implement and the PTA can help bridge and just implement and make those bonds stronger. I talked to one PTA today that was awarded the designation last year, and she told me that they have actually been a school of excellence since like 2015. And so they almost gave up last year because they felt like that was so hard. But she's like, but we've done it for the past 10 years. So we really want to push through and make sure that we still have this school of excellence because it is really valuable to our parents. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize you've been on this as a school of excellence for this many years. Definitely. Like, let us know like what we can help you with, because that is such a high honor, and it really shows me that you care about your students and your teachers and your families, and being able to make them feel welcome and accepted into the schools, and that they can come to anywhere and that they will have their needs met and feel like they're being heard.
And that's so important.
And then yes, and then whatever else the needs are, I help fill in for what Anjali needs help, and whatever our goals are for the plan of work. So that's my specific thing that I am doing. But whatever else the Family Life Committee needs is basically what I do.
I love it. The School of Excellence program is really important, like Melinda said, because it really does help see what those needs are. You know, I think sometimes, like, we have a school community and it's the people that live around the school, but those people that are teaching and administrators, they might not be from that school community. You know, they live out, I mean, sometimes they might live close by, but sometimes they live elsewhere, and so they're not necessarily aware of all the needs that are happening in that local area. So I think the School of Excellence can really help, like, bridge that gap, just like you said. Like, it's so great. It's all right. It's fine. It's real life.
Sorry.
Yep.
Real life.
Yeah.
We got kids.
We all have kids.
We do it for the kids. We love it.
Yep.
Yes, and they're so excited to take part, and it actually gives the ownership over. I feel like it kind of gives the ownership, like, this is my school. We have pride. We want to build it up. We want to take care of it. We want to own what we have, and so then they're more invested. And then the more invested that the families are, the better the relationship, the more likely that they're going to be supportive when hard things have to happen, like changes.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, there are going to be staff changes or things that not everyone agrees with, but if they're invested in what the school has, then they're going to know that some of these things, like teachers having to change grades or administrative having to move, they're going to know it's the school actually cares about the children, and they're trying to do what's best at that time. So it really makes them be the buy-in of that investment, and knowing that they're doing what is best for the children and the teachers. And because it all comes out, like, the teachers, to be successful, you really need to make sure that the teachers are they have high morale, that they have this positive outlook, that they want to be there, that they want to be successful, because that in turn makes it, attitude is such a huge thing in what makes the school thrive and makes the classroom thrive. That makes it a safe place for children to come and open up. And if a child feels safe and the family feels safe, then whatever needs are not being met outside of school can be met at school, and then they can learn.
Well, and I always tell I'm a council president, and I tell my local PTA presidents that if you're not trying to solve real problems, like, what good are you actually doing? You know, like, if you're just always thinking that your school is perfect and you have all these beautiful activities, which you can have all these beautiful activities, but if that's kind of all you're doing, and like, I feel like you're kind of missing the big picture of PTA and the power that PTA can bring. I was with a principal yesterday, and she gives like a report every month to her PTA executive committee, and then she often brings something that she needs help with, which I loved. But she was saying that she was like, one thing I need help with is kind of building up the trust for the educators in the community. And she was like, there's been a lot of gossip about our teachers recently, and kind of going, like, instead of talking to the teacher about the problem, they just go straight to the superintendent or, you know, to their board member or whatever. And I was like, this is actually like a real problem that PTA can help with. You know, PTA can help boost that morale and also like change the narrative, you know, and help to build that confidence in their teachers again. And I was like, that's so great that the principal actually brought something that the PTA could help with. Like,
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good question to maybe ask
having supportive teachers and principals is also like one of the big things. And that's why with School of Excellence it says to like have a team, have a committee that includes your principal and some of the teachers, and have a diverse committee, have have different people from different neighborhoods and different minorities and different parents that have a variety of children, and make it so diverse so that you're getting all aspects of what the school looks like. So you're hearing everything and you can address everything. Not all at once, like just one goal at a time.
Yeah.
And then you have a 2-year cycle. And then on the next cycle, you can reapply and then go for another goal.
Yeah, and like sometimes you realize that there's maybe a lot of problems. Sometimes that happens. You realize there's a lot of problems. But like you said, we can't tackle it all at once. So you just pick a thing, focus on it, and then we'll try to better that, and then we'll move on to the next goal, you know, because I don't know. I'm one of those that like I bite off everything.
Yes, and then you get overwhelmed.
And then I can't do it. Like it's so hard.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
So can you kind of walk us through the process of School of Excellence, like how you would apply, you know, once you've applied, what that process is? Can you kind of walk us through that briefly?
Yes.
Yeah, the condensed version.
So the condensed version is you go to the family engagement page, and there should be a link, and there will be a training video posted soon. I just have to mess with the templates. You go there, and then you click on the national website for School of Excellence, and it's open between May 1st and October 15th. So you sign up, and then after, like in August sometime is usually when they send out the information for the surveys that you can, it's simple. They give you the Google form for you to make a copy in both English, Spanish, and possibly some other languages. I'll have to look back at that again. And you just make a copy of it and choose which goal and which questions you want to send out to your school. So this is basically the needs assessment that if you're in Utah and you want to be a Gold Star PTA, you need to send out a needs assessment anyway. This can be your needs assessment to see what your parents need. You send it out. You have to get a certain percentage of responses back, and that goes all the way up until November sometime. Then by December 1st, you need to submit your plan of action, your survey responses, and what plan of action you're going to implement. Then you have from December 1st through May to work on that plan of action. Then in May, you resend that same survey out, and by June 15th, you submit your results of your plan of action and the survey results. Those get looked over by the School of Excellence Committee on National, and by August, they send you your celebration, your letter of if you've received the designation, and a celebration kit sometime in September, and a few this is, from my understanding, just completely random. I don't think there's any judging guidelines. Just they choose a few PTAs from all of those who received the designation to receive a $2,000 grant based on those who've completed the program. And it's just from those who've completed it, they just choose like 4, I think. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. But, and so it's basically from, and then you have that designation for 2 years. So 2024 would be until 2026. And then in May 1st, 2026, you can sign up and do the cycle again. And there's check-in points. They have, like, right now, there's a chat tomorrow night to help guide you through any questions you might have, any help. There's the family engagement specialist, which will be actually a program committee next year. So there'll be lots of people that can help walk you through it. We want to celebrate those who get the designations, and that there, like I said, there will be actually a full training video completed before December and up on the PTA website that will go through all the steps as well.
Awesome.
And yes, and then I am here this year to help work through any of those questions and help that you might need to get through some of those maybe difficult things. Like the one that I'm helping for my kids' school right now, I know that we don't have very many responses, and so we have to figure out a way to maybe incentivize or, just figure out ways that we can get more responses.
I mean, everybody loves a free t-shirt.
I was just thinking, isn't it like
Everyone loves a free t-shirt.
the dilemma of PTA is like,
or something like, we have lots of different things that we can do.
Well, I know a few years ago, my school was designated as a school of excellence, and when they send you like your certificate and whatever, they also have, like, you can go onto the website and it has like ideas of people who you could invite to your celebration. And my principal was the best, and he was like, we're making this huge, so we invited our mayor and our senators, and we sent thing to the governor, and we invited our school board, and it was so amazing. We had people from our school board come, we had people from our city council, we had our mayor, we had Burgess Owens, we had a letter from our state senator, and it was so cool to have parents and kids and all these people here, like, supporting education and saying, like, we are partners, we are in this together. Like, I might sit very far on this side of the table and you're over here, but, like, we're going to come together. And I loved that.
Yeah,
and it was so cool, too. Like, I mean, and Burgess Owens is, wearing his football ring and, like...
like, can I try on the ring maybe on my thumb?
I know, right? Like, let me just borrow that.
Well, it's really interesting. I'm actually on the national website looking at the 2023 to 2025 national, what would it be, awardees.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this going, there's like not hundreds, but there's a ton from Florida and Texas. I'm like, man, wouldn't that be so awesome if we could have Utah be like this just scrolling list? Like, they just go on forever, like a couple pages. Like Florida's like a page and a half. But Texas, and I realize Texas is a big state, but
yeah, it is
Texas
pretty big.
just keeps going. So I'm like, we should make that Utah, so everyone needs to...
there's so many amazing things going on in the state of Utah. There's so many PTAs doing so much good. Mm-hmm. So much good.
Yeah. We should recognize them.
I'm like, the 2 celebrations we've had already, we had the school board members come and so we've had that. I didn't think about, that's amazing. You gave me some more ideas of who we can invite to celebrate the other few.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's just amazing. Awesome. Yeah. I think too, like, school should just be sometimes you just need that, like, pick me up for the good that you're doing, like.
Exactly, and then recognition goes a long way because.
Oh yeah.
And I know that we're here for the kids, but also, you need that. That special, like, yes, you did this, you worked hard, and you're making a difference. Sometimes being able to see that makes the world of a difference. Of you're making an impact. This is an immediate result. That instant, like. Look at all the difference you've made for this school.
We all need that. Like,
yes,
we all need that.
It takes, I forget exact, in our teaching, like, management classes, they said it takes, like, 3 times more positive to overcome one negative.
I believe that.
So it is so important to be so positive, especially when we have so many kids that experience so many negative things. And this is like a really amazing positive thing that they can do.
Yeah, I love it. And I want to say, like, you are, like, always a positive person, too. Even when you have struggles or hard things, like, I admire that about you. You're always so positive. And I'm like, oh, I'm the Debbie Downer over here.
I don't know, Angeli. I don't think you're a downer either.
I mean, sometimes I am. You should have heard our conversation earlier. We were like, this is the podcast after hours conversation when I was kind of being a Debbie Downer, but it's fine.
My mom's here visiting to help me out for the month, and she heard me on some phone calls for PTA, and she's like, dude, you guys could totally do a reality show and make some big money for PTA.
The PTA reality
show. A couple of years ago at convention, we had Gab Wireless there. And my friend Karen and I, we just really hit it off with the lady that was working at Gab Wireless. And she was like, you guys are my favorite PTA ladies. Like, you're so awesome. And I don't know, somehow we got stuck on the show, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake. And she was like, you guys should put it on your shirt, like, The Real Housewives of PTA. And so, like, we totally did put that on the back of our school shirts. Like, and we thought we were so cool. I don't know if anybody else thought we were cool, but, like...
Yeah.
And then we actually made buttons that said, like, the real fathers of PTA, and, like, the real housewives of PTA, and, like, the real working moms of PTA. Like, that was really fun, but
because it's PTA for everybody.
Exactly.
It really is.
Exactly. I love it.
And that's the whole part about meeting, or like doing family engagement. You meet the families where they're at.
Yeah.
If they can't volunteer, that's okay. Like, we can at least, like, let us do the advocating for you. Like, what are your concerns, and let us take that burden from you, because we have the time, we have the desire. And if you have your concerns, but you are like a single parent working multiple jobs to make it work, that's what we're here for. That's what we are doing. It takes everybody to advocate for our children.
Yeah.
And that is, like, my biggest, when I talk to people about joining PTA, I'm like, you don't have, like, don't worry if you can't volunteer. Don't worry. Like, give what you can, but don't worry about giving anything if you can't. Just support us in where you can, and let us do the rest for you.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I think that just embodies, like, our mission. What you said is just, we meet, I love that phrase, we meet the families where they're at.
Yeah. I'm like, boom, done.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yep.
So good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and some parents are like, I just don't have the financials. I'm like, that's perfectly okay. Don't worry about it. If you ever have a time to volunteer, just come in and volunteer. It's fine. Like, we understand, like, there's a time where people can give more than others, and then there's times that you are the one who just needs to be helped yourself.
That's definitely been the topic of the night, time and a season.
Yep.
Yeah. And that is why we are here, because we're here to help your children, and no matter what, it doesn't matter. Like, every child. And that is something that not a lot of people know about me, is why I went into teaching, is because I grew up in that high risk family, like a single parent, and, you know, generational, like, I broke generational things. And I was, like, the first to graduate high school, and I was the first to graduate college, and I was first to, you know, have a career and stuff in my family. So I broke a lot of generational norms for my family. And that is why I went to be a teacher, was to make sure that I did for other children what I had teachers do for me, because they saw my potential. and they didn't let me fall through the cracks.
I love that.
Yeah.
That makes me tear
So,
up.
I know. I was thinking that too. I'm like, that's like deep. Like,
Yeah, that's like really special. Like,
yeah. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I just want to say is that is PTA. Like, that is our goal and our mission is to keep those kids from falling through.
oh, another meaningful one. I love it. I love it. Truth
Yeah.
right there. I
People
love it.
They look at me now and they're like, we never would have guessed. I'm like, no, because I've done a lot of good things that I've tried to, make my life different for my children.
And you're succeeding.
Well, and all the other children that you're helping along the way too. Like that's what it's not just your kids. It's all kids. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I think. So, any other questions? I don't know. I feel like I'm talking a lot.
I know.
Sorry.
No, I love that. I feel like that's a great place to end.
I know,
on.
right?
Like,
That was like beautiful.
so good.
Just lay it out
So
there.
good. I feel like we can't do it any better justice. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
we loved having you on. Like, it was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is how I felt about reflections. I was like, oh,
Yep, I was going to say the same
so
thing.
meaningful, so good. Thank you so much for being on tonight, and we were excited to try something new too. Like,
Yeah. Being our experimental phone call.
yeah, I
Yeah,
love
you're
it.
our first.
Oh, awesome.
It sounds
I
good.
would have come over. It took me 2 hours. I was at the hospital by you guys. It took me 2 hours to get home from St.
Oh,
Mark's
Utah, and
to
it's
Eagle Mountain.
traffic.
Just don't miss your turn, and then it takes 20 minutes to turn around.
Oh yeah. Oh.
So hopefully, Angela, traffic is not that bad when you try to leave there.
I hope not. I got a good podcast to listen to on my way home, though.
There you go.
Yes.
I just turned myself on, and
It's so weird.
Nothing like listening to yourself and going, oh, did I say that? I am
Yes.
sorry.
my kids are like, "Can
Yes.
you turn it on?" And I'm like, "No, ooh, no."
I apologize to everyone who has to listen
Great.
to me.
I know, seriously. My voice really
You
sounds
guys
like
are-
that. All right, Melinda.
All three of you are so much fun.
Oh, thanks,
Thank you.
Linda.
Thank you.
Thanks for all that you
You're
do.
welcome.
All right. Well, too bad you're not here to dance with us because that's how we close out our show. But we'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you guys later. I'll see you guys next week.
All right. Thanks, Linda.
Bye, Melinda.
You're welcome. Bye.
Ready?